Who are actively suing Musk and those to stop their harmful actions from moving forward. Joining us now, the Attorney General of New Mexico, Raul Torres. Welcome, sir.
General Torres, thank you so much for being with us. You know, it seems to me that the Attorney General's had a plan. Did these plans come together in the aftermath, in the immediate aftermath of the election, or are you all just simply responding in real time to what you were seeing and mobilizing your network?
Well, I think what you've seen is building on the foundation that was laid by our predecessors during the first Trump administration. There was certainly a lot of planning that went into our litigation response. We looked carefully at Project 2025 and basically took it at face value and then organized ourselves to be able to respond as if those things were going to be the blueprint for the second Trump administration, and unfortunately that's what we've seen.
One of the interesting roles that attorney generals are playing is you are making an administrative argument, whether that administrative argument is on birthright citizenship or whether it is on something like what happened just this weekend where you had Trump signing an executive order that makes English the official U.S. language, is already the official U.S. language in 30 states. This codifies it nationwide. This becomes complicated for folks like you, right? In terms of how you administer services to folks inside your states under an executive order that now makes it a whole lot harder to do that in a diversity of languages. What is that going to look like for the AGs, and how do the AGs push back?
Well, it's going to be challenging for us in particular because we actually built into the New Mexico Constitution guarantee access to folks who speak Spanish as their first language. It was part of what happened when we became a state. But more generally, what we are seeing is this attempt to control the federal government rather than through congressional action by executive fiat. It's something that I think is, rather than an administrative argument, we're making a constitutional argument about the power that the president is trying to wield in eliminating federal agencies and eliminating critical funding and fundamentally destabilizing the American system.
General, you have, as I noted, you guys are coming together with citizens, everyday folks who've been impacted by the efforts of DOJ. You have now developing an argument on the heels of the town hall meetings that have been taking place in congressional districts, largely Republican congressional districts, in which Republicans, to be clear, have been expressing the impact on them. But you have the Speaker of the House claiming otherwise and sort of laying out a narrative about what these town hall meetings are like and who are actually there. Let's take a listen.
Are eggs good for dogs? Raw egg or cooked egg? It doesn't actually matter. Eggs are great for dogs, so add it. Apples are great.
No, I don't. Because the videos you saw of the town halls were for paid protesters in many of those places. These are Democrats who went to the events early and filled up the seats. If the videos had panned
you can't argue they were all paid protesters, though, Mr. Speaker. What Republican acknowledged they were his constituents?
One Republican acknowledged they were his constituents. That's fantastic. Okay, but they had Democrats come and fill the seats early.
I mean, you can't make this stuff up. You just can't anymore. How do you, as you're really trying to have this serious conversation and get the full-throated expression of what's happening to real people out there in the marketplace, so the rest of the country will know that what the speaker just said is a lie, that these are not paid actors coming in, hired hands, because there's no evidence. My thing is, Mr. Speaker, okay, how come they told you but nobody else that they were paid by Democrats? So how do you begin to combat these narratives that are forming around the work you're trying to get out there to help people, and so that it's not, more difficult than it already is, having to face that lie?
Yeah, I mean, I don't concern myself with the kind of silliness that the speaker was just engaging in. And he needs to be reminded, as does everyone, that members of Congress, the president, they're elected to represent all Americans. They're elected to represent the needs and interests of all Americans. And one of the things that I think has come through in all this is the way in which we dehumanize the people who are public servants. These are scientists, these are teachers, these are engineers. There was a recent report today in the Washington Post that they slashed critical positions for nuclear safety at some of our most sort of high security national security installations, including right here in New Mexico. I don't think most Americans had any sense that this move fast and break things approach, which may work for Twitter. It doesn't really matter to me if Elon Musk buys up a company and plays eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and decides to just randomly fire people there and see if it works. I don't care if he does that with his own company, but he's trying to do this with our government, and he's doing it in a way that endangers people's lives, and then frankly undermines the service that they've engaged in for years. This is somebody who has never engaged in public service and has spent most of his life accumulating money, accumulating power, and then he gets in and he decides to use his access and influence to fire park rangers and engineers and nuclear safety specialists. I mean, this is not just unconstitutional, it's downright stupid.
I mean, dramatic pause because
yeah, this that exclamation point.
Bold and underlined. One quick question I have, Mr. Attorney General, is when you all are holding these in-person, if you will, hearings for field excursions, if you will they be televised so that people will be able to see? Will the press be allowed access to hear directly what folks are telling you all?
Yes, I mean all of these are going to be open to the public, and you know. This, I think, is an important point. We're welcome to hear any perspective in this conversation. I think it's important. One of the things that I always tell people is I was a federal prosecutor. I worked at Main Justice. I recognize that there are inefficiencies in the administration of federal government programs. And the irony is a lot of the people that they're firing, they are the ones who have a deep understanding of how systems can work more effectively. They are trying to do something in their respective programs to serve the American public. And if we were being smart about this, we would slow down. We would ask them how to make government more efficient, more impactful, more responsive. Bill Clinton engaged in a very deliberate process. He eliminated not only jobs that weren't necessary and programs that weren't necessary, but also billions of dollars. The difference is he did so in a lawful, deliberate, intelligent way. This is anything but that. So there's an opportunity for folks who are interested in government efficiency to engage in a process that brings people together, that leverages their knowledge. But this is like trying to deciding that you need to redesign your kitchen, and let's just set the house on fire and see what burns, and then if we need to replace the stove, we'll do that. That's a dumb way to go about much necessary reform in this country, and I don't think most Americans, including a lot of Republicans, are really responding to the chaos that we've seen from these cuts.
Don't y'all just love an Attorney General that keeps it honest and makes it plain? New Mexico Attorney General Raul Torres, we appreciate your time.